The following program was produced by a community producer.
Welcome, or should I say bienvenidos to SPARTA Seniors Episode 6, the #1 show for healthy aging. I'm Coach Julio, and I'm excited to share with you a new show, and it's going to be fun for everyone. Now, if you're new to SPARTA Seniors, I want to mention that there are other previous episodes, 1 through 5, that I want you to check out. So from all these episodes, you're going to see a range of exercises for balance training, strength training, mobility, partner training, grip strength training, fun activity and trivias, and even for brain health. And everything can be done from the comfort of your own home, no equipment needed. It's a very creative workout. It's safe for all levels of fitness. And you can find this on UMA TV or on my YouTube playlist. And you can see the information on the bottom of the screen. So please when you have a moment, take a look at those and on to the new episode. So for today, I have a lot of fun stuff for you. We're going to do a lot of exercises, of course, but I'm also going to have a special interview with Chief Sullivan from the Malden Fire Department. We're going to discuss fire safety. On top of that, we're going to review fitness technologies that's free and it's already on your smart device. And other topics that you're going to love and you don't want to miss is going to include my Rest is Rust campaign. Yes, Rest is Rust. It's a fun project that I am inviting everyone to join with me. So let's jump right into it, shall we? So did you know that there is a app on your phone as I'm talking with you? I'm smiling and laughing for a reason. And this app is tracking your steps. Yes, all of our phones have a free health app. Like, for example, on iPhone or on the Android may have a different name, and it can be used to your advantage. So what I've done for you, I've created 2 videos, one of Carla sharing her experience using the health app on her iPhone, and she uses for walking, and she also gives some cool tips. Then I also show you how you can find it on your phone if you have an iPhone. So take a seat and bring out your phone and watch this video.
Hey everybody, this is Coach Julio. I'm here with Carla.
Hello.
And we're going to briefly discuss something that I brought up in our class about technology that's available on our phone and it's free. And Carla's going to share her experience.
So I do use the technology to count my steps. It's a little bit more difficult depending on what clothing you're wearing, believe it or not, because you need to have pockets and have the phone with you at all times. But if you do that, then you can monitor yourself and see how much you're doing per day and challenge yourself to do a little bit more tomorrow. And if you have somebody that's tech savvy, they will help you take the benefits of all of the features of the app. So if you have it,
yes,
get help to use it. It's great.
Yeah, so just to put things in context, what I mentioned was in our class that it's available on the Apple or the Samsung. It's under, I think, Health app. And basically, if you have a smartphone, check it out to see if you have one, or you can download one and you can start to get active as of today. You don't have to have a gym access. You can literally just start using it. And there's another feature to it, which was, I think I mentioned, was the balance part, the steadiness. Have you tried that?
I have, and I really find it very helpful because as you get older, your balance sometimes can be a little bit off. So this helps me take advantage of that and position my body so I'm really steady on my feet.
So where I'm talking about, just specifically a feature in the Apple one, the free one, the health app that measures your steadiness as you walk. And we talked about fanny packs. Why did we mention fanny packs and pedometers?
Because if you have a fanny pack, you can put the phone in your fanny pack. It'll be safe, you won't lose it, and it will monitor your walking during the day, and you'll always have your phone with you if you need it.
So there you have it. Fanny pack is optional. Pedometer is old school. I remember that back in the day. And any tracking app would be fantastic. There's a whole bunch that are free. At the end of the day, we just want you to get active, right?
Absolutely.
And as we say in the class, rest is rust.
Rest is rust.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, it's Coach Julio. So I'm going to show you how I find the health app on my iPhone, which is free and pre-installed. I just type in health in the search bar, and as you can see, my screen already opened up to the app. It's tracking my steps, but there's a lot of other features I want you to check out. On the Android phone, I'm pretty sure you have something similar, and I will encourage you to take advantage. Now, this technology is very inclusive. You're going to notice as I get to it, it has adaptive technology where you can also assess your mobility, and it's only going to be an addition to what you're already doing today. It should encourage and motivate you, and take advantage of it. So let me know what you think. Post your comments, and don't forget to subscribe.
Well, I hope you like that. Now, if you may be thinking, hey, that's a lot of information, I want to simplify this for you. What I just showed you is readily available, as I mentioned, and it's easy to use. And I'm going to give you some tips on how you can start using it today. You could just use it to track your steps. While you're tracking your steps, you can kind of get a baseline of how many steps you're doing. And then you can challenge yourself the next week, and then you can see how this can increase your fitness level. Now, secondly, if you are initiating a fitness journey, you're just resuming fitness, then this would be a great motivational tool, and you can also do it with your friends and family. Now, in that little short clip, I also showed you that it has other features that can also give you an assessment and track your sleep. It has mobility features, adaptive technology, and even another really important feature, which is walking steadiness. And all that's available right now. All you need to do is just pick up your phone, look for the free app, or if you are having trouble finding it, you can reach out to me or Google on the internet Senior Fitness Mobile Technology, or just free fitness trackers. Free fitness trackers. So please take advantage of the technology. I'm stumbling over my words because I'm excited to be sharing that. All right, so now let's jump into the physical part of our workout. There's 2 segments for today, and this is segment 1. And what we are going to do are 2 exercises that are very familiar. Sit and stand is one of them. Now, the sit and stand is what we do every day, right? You just sit and stand off a chair. Now, it's a functional movement, and what I would like to do for you is to help you get stronger. And one way we can get stronger is by doing variations of a movement. So the sit and stand, normally you would just sit and stand, you're not thinking about it. So in other words, that is a squat. What I am going to show you is a variation called a zombie squat. Don't be afraid. I know it's not Halloween, but it's going to be okay. A zombie squat and a wide stance variation for sit and stand. These have a lot of benefits. Recruiting muscles in your inner thigh. Also is beneficial, for balance, and on top of that, it's fun. And you don't need a gym membership and no fancy fitness equipment needed. But I'm not going to demonstrate it for you. I'm going to have my rock star client demonstrate it for us. So watch this video.
Thank you for being the rock star to show the various sit and stand. Just gonna say really quickly, when we do the sit and stand, we can do different chair heights. You can do a bench, a chair, or you can have a higher chair like the one you have there, right?
Right.
You can also use a bed, but we always got to make sure that it's the height that doesn't irritate our knees or challenge our balance, because we have to be steady on our feet to do this sit and stand. You feel steady on your feet?
I do.
Excellent. So variation 1, we will do a wide sit and stand, and you're going to have your arms out in front as if there's a safety bar. And I'm going to ask you to do 3 reps. You're going to stand up, pull yourself up, and then as you sit, your arms go away from your body.
Okay.
We'll do our best.
1.
Beautiful. I talk
2.
as you move. 2 looks good. 3, 2, 1, sitting down.
3.
You're a rock star. Excellent. arms down. Very good. So that stance was wide, and of course it can be done in whatever stance the person feels comfortable. Now we're going to do a zombie squat. So the zombie squat, again, you can have whatever leg position you feel comfortable when you sit and stand off a chair. So you're going to have your arms out, stretched as we usually do. So Frankenstein or Frankenstein is the arm position, depending on what part of your neighborhood you're from. And then sit and stand, keep your arms up, and then we'll do 3.
Okay.
You're doing great. Exhale on top.
2.
You got it. This is unscripted. 3, and then we sit. Fantastic. How did that feel on your knees?
It didn't bother my knees at all.
Very good. Just for our purposes, just to review, when you keep your arms up like that, it forces your chest to stay up, which is translated into the biomechanics of the movement. And it also looks good for Halloween, because then you can do a zombie squat and you'll be the talk of your neighborhood. How does that sound?
That sounds good.
Hey, I have some.
So how'd you like that? So that is something that we can start doing today. Now I want to impress upon you a very, very important point about training effects. And of course this ties into safety. When you are doing any of these exercises, it's about frequency. So if you are able to do like 5 reps today or 10 reps today, and you repeat it every other day, or it's a daily drill, over a period of time, that's going to reflect in your movement and also in your fitness level. So all I want you to do is always start with a low reps and then work your way up, and before you know it, you'll be a master of that movement. Now the next thing I'm going to have you do is a mobility drill, is for your thoracic spine. Now as you can see on your screen, the thoracic spine starts from T1 to T12, and that is designed, or its primary function for that part of our spine is to do rotation. So if that part of our vertebrae or our spine is becoming stiff because we're not practicing this rotational movement, then guess what? That's also going to influence our posture. So yes, if we start to lose our range of motion, and I'm going to show you some drills, so it's okay, I'm going to show you seated and standing variations. It will affect or influence our upper body and lower body health, including our lower back health and our shoulder health. So I have good news. Here's something you can start doing today. If you feel shoulder pain when you do this, I want you to stop, because I'm going to show you some variation. So I'm going to show you standing. I call it I Dream of Jeannie. I just dated myself. My hands are overlapped. My elbows are lined up with my shoulders. As you can see, here's a side view. I'm going to look straight, and again, my friends, we can do this sitting. I'm going to exhale, and I do not turn my head. I'm going to rotate my arms to one side. Notice my hands stay together, and then I bring it back. So what's the breathing? I smell the roses, and then I blow out the candles. Exhale. So you're going to rotate or repeat for a couple of reps. So you can do 5 to one side. I don't want you to alternate, and then you do, say, 5 to the other. So the whole point of that, you're going to discover that one side very likely has less range of motion. Now again, if you don't have pain or discomfort, this is fantastic. And you're going to identify which side has more range or less range. And just that movement in itself is going to promote the rotational function of the thoracic spine. And I'm going to show you 2 other variations for the same exercise. So instead of having your hands here, you can have your hands over your elbows. But my arms are still leveled with my shoulders, as you can see. So now it's much shorter, and that's a much tighter movement. And you may notice, or you may feel the back or that area more. And this is also conducive to your shoulder blade health, scapular health. Here's variation number 3. It's a little bit more advanced. And again, you can do this sitting. Notice my arms, my elbows are lined up with my shoulders. I'm going to give you a side view. I call it, looks like a letter L. I don't turn my head. And between my elbows, pretend you have an imaginary soccer ball. I exhale and I rotate, and I inhale. What I recommend is just doing it to one side for a couple of reps rather than alternating, going side to side. You can do both. after you understand the movement. So safety tips: do not hold your breath when you do that movement. If you feel any pain or discomfort, you stop. I just showed you 3 variations, and that can also be done sitting. How about that? Next thing you know, your posture is going to start to change, and you're going to be the talk of the town. So now we are going to go into another segment of this show, and what I would like to talk about is ageism. If you haven't heard about it, you're going to hear about it now. It's one of the most underreported forms of discrimination and inequity. And what I've done for you, I've created a short video just to introduce it, and I want you to help me to bring public awareness to this inequity and, again, form of discrimination, and we're going to learn how to stop it. So please watch this video.
Hi everybody, it's Coach Julio, and I want to do a video on an underreported inequity, and that is ageism. So if you don't know what ageism is, or if you do know what it is and you want to learn more about it and finally learn how to stop it, this video is for you, so keep watching. The main objective, more than one, of me discussing ageism is just to bring public awareness and help you possibly get a better understanding if it's a new term for you, see if it applies to you, and secondly, how we can work together to stop it. So again, I'm going to share with you some links. You can easily Google the term ageism and it will come up. And there are a lot of organizations, local and nationally, that are working every day to fight it. So what is ageism? And again, this information I'm reading off is Medical News Today, and the link is in the description and at the bottom of the screen. So what is ageism and how does it affect health? Just in a general way, it's ageism is prejudice or discrimination against people based on their age. It typically applies to people who are older, but can also affect young people. Ageism has a negative impact on physical and mental health, and reports link it with earlier death. So it's an inequity. It's the bottom line, as you heard me say, it can go both ways for younger adults and also older adults. For this video, we're going to specifically talk about older adults and healthcare. And I'm just going to touch upon a couple of other topics related to this. So I'm going to give you some data from the 2020 National Poll on Healthy Aging. Found that 82% of older Americans reported experiencing ageism regularly. The survey found that 65% experienced ageist messages from the media, 45% experienced interpersonal ageism, and 36% had internalized ageism. So why not I give you some examples of ageism? Ageism comes in many forms. Some examples in the workplace: refusing to hire people over or under a certain age. Again, I'm just going to give you some examples. You can Google this and you can learn more about it. Enacting policies that unfairly privilege one age group over another. Asking for someone's age at a job interview when it's not relevant to the work. And I'll share a personal example. I had a client of mine share. So she was getting gray hair early on in her 20s and 30s, and she purposely colored it for job interviews because she feared, see where I'm going with this, that she was not going to get the job. And how do we know if we lose opportunities? Because the other party are not explicitly going to say it's because of your age. See where I'm going with this? So we can also be losing opportunities or benefits because someone is practicing ageism, or they are unaware that they're doing that. So at the end of the day, my firm belief is that this inequity, ageism, can be unlearned, and that's through education, and that's what I'm trying to provide here. Now, let's talk about stopping ageism. The WHO states there are 3 ways to combat ageism: education to dispel myths and stereotypes and raise awareness of the impact of ageism, such as we are doing; intergenerational interventions, which creates cooperation and empathy between age groups; law and policy changes, which can reduce inequity and discrimination. So you see where I'm going with this: becoming aware of it, learning about it, developing skills, and at the end, taking action. Now, if you are a healthcare provider, I want to read this, and it's from the European Journal of Aging. And I'm going to have this also, the link in the description. And I found this very interesting. So further interventions, this is again specific for healthcare providers, also social workers can be. Listen. Future interventions should explicitly address the challenges that healthcare professionals associate with working with older adults. So what that is basically saying, healthcare providers also experience some challenges working with older adults, specifically in light of the limited resources available in the healthcare system. This should generate a candid discussion of emotions and thoughts that develop in the presence of older adults. In the course of medical training, there is a need to further explore the implicit conflict involved in providing too much treatment, too little treatment, or simply inadequate treatment to older adults. And then that link and source is in the description. So there you have it. I hope you found this video useful. We can work together to stop ageism. Please post your comments and don't forget to subscribe.
Well, I hope you find that information useful, and I encourage you to learn more about ageism. You can just Google it, or you can also search on the internet for your local or regional or state senior action committee, and you can get involved in helping to stop ageism. And last but not least, please share that information with your friends and family. Thank you in advance. Now we're going to go into another exercise segment, and here we are going to bring up your heart rate followed by a couple of stretches. So I'm going to introduce two words to you, and that is foot fire. As if you might be getting a flashback like you were on the beach and then you're barefoot and your feet are on fire. It's not that kind of foot fire or some other kind of ritual. Well, foot fire is actually an exercise that I do regularly with my clients and in my group fitness class. It is a form of lower body fitness, and it's also fantastic for cardiovascular health and reaction time. So I will show you briefly an example of foot fire, and we can also do this sitting, and it's always timed. If you feel unsteady on your feet, or if we're going to do it seated. So that being said, let's show you sitting. Now you may smile and be like, that's not going to do much, but it will. So I'm going to jump into it. My feet aren't flat on the floor. I'm sitting on the edge or in the middle of the chair. And for 5 seconds, I'm going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Now what I'm going to ask of you, not to do a New York City count, be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we're going to do like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, or 1 1,000. And of course, if you feel confident and comfortable, that can be done standing. So here's the awesome part about what I'm showing you. Yes, that does spike up your heart rate temporarily, but then after you master that, we can do it going backwards, as you can see. But don't take my word for it. Watch this video of my group class doing the foot fire backwards.
Three, 2, 1, foot fire. 3, 2, 1. Come forward again. We'll do it again.
We don't get it.
You do it again. Go. 3, 2, 1. Stand tall. Take a deep breath. Arms by your side. Nice job.
So as you can see, foot fire is relative. The speed of your feet, it's all relative. So just take it slow, and I guarantee over a period of time, you're going to see your speed increase, and everybody's going to want to join in. So now we are going to go to the stretching part. Everybody loves stretches. I'm going to show you this one seated, and it's going to do your triceps. So where are your triceps? These are your triceps, the muscles back here. That is your tricep muscle. And what we're going to do is a very old school stretch, and I'm going to have a specific way of teaching it. If this bothers your shoulder, do not worry. I'll have another variation. So this is my right hand. My right hand is going to touch the back of my neck or the base of my neck. After that, my opposite hand is going to reach for that elbow, and I'm going to pull that. As I pull, I exhale, and my hand walks down as I'm pulling, and that is my stretch. I will show you a front view. So right now we're getting a tricep stretch. And any stretches, we don't work through pain or discomfort. So I will show you again. My free hand touches the base of my neck or the back of my neck, and then my opposite hand grabs the elbow, and I walk that hand down and I exhale. So you would do that for both sides, 8 to 10 seconds. Another way you can do the stretch, you can just have your arm in front gently push that elbow towards your body, and then that becomes a stretch. I'll show you another view. So here I am, touch, exhale, exhale, and that stretches also the triceps. So that's something I highly recommend doing often, because that muscle in itself contributes when it's really tight when it's really tight, just to say it like that, it will affect our shoulder health. So there you have it. You have a stretch you can do daily, and you can do it with your friends and family. So now we're going to go on to our next segment, which is fire safety for older adults. And Chief William Sullivan of the Malden Fire Department is going to share a very important message for all of us.
Thank you for your patience.
Not at all.
Hey everybody, this is Coach Julio, and I'm with Chief Sullivan of Malden Fire Department. Sir, how are you today?
I'm very well, Coach. Thanks for the invitation to join you.
Thank you. And I definitely want to start to say thank you to you and the Malden Fire Department and all the first responders for all you do for our community 24/7.
Well, you're quite welcome. We're honored and privileged to be able to serve the people that we do and provide the services that we do 24/7.
Thank you. And so Chief Sullivan is going to share about fire safety for older adults. And I want to say thank you for taking the time to do this, and please share.
So again, when we're talking about fire safety in the home, for any age level, in fact, first and foremost, we've got to start with the proper installation of smoke alarms. And that begins with ensuring smoke alarms on every level of your home and outside of each sleeping area. All right, vitally important. And remember, particularly, obviously, battery-operated smoke alarms, those batteries should be replaced at least twice a year. And a good way to remember when to replace your batteries is simply when you change the clocks. When you set the time ahead and you set the time back. Consider testing your alarms once a month. If you take a look at the face of a smoke detector, you'll see one single button. It's a test button. Right? If you can't reach it, even a broom handle. Just a quick push to make sure that the alarm is working. And the smoke detector itself should be replaced every 10 years. You note on the box when you purchase it, it has a lifetime of about 10 years. At this point, again, I'll also mention carbon monoxide detectors. Mm-hmm. We talk about the placement of smoke alarms at the top and bottom of every stairwell and outside of sleeping areas. As far as the carbon monoxide detectors, one detector on each level of your home should be sufficient. All right. Keep 3 essential items by your bedside at night. Consider this when you go to sleep at night, and we'll get into this a little bit more later. But your eyeglasses. If you wear eyeglasses, make sure that you can reach them easily should the alarm go off during the night. If you have a cellular phone, keep that phone handy as well. All right, as well as a cane you may need, or a walker, or any device that will help you move about. And also, you may consider a whistle. All right, leaving it with your cell phone, something that if by chance you're unable to evacuate for some reason, just to allow somebody an opportunity to hear that you may be in trouble and may need more assistance than you might have thought at the beginning. As we talk about any home, despite age, but particularly people over 65, seeing as cooking is actually the leading cause of fire injuries for people over 65, I'd just like to provide some safety tips relative to that.
Yes, please.
When you're cooking, consider wearing short or tight-fitting sleeves. All right, as you're moving about the stove and you're moving pots and pans, you don't want to have a long flowing garment like a house coat or a bathrobe maybe that has a long sleeve. So consider, a short sleeve or tightly fitting clothes. One of the biggest issues is to never leave cooking unattended. If you're cooking something, stay within close proximity of the stove at all times. All right. Last thing that we want to have, see happen is the phone ring, and now your attention is taken away from the stovetop. So when you're cooking, stay in close proximity. Keep a lid near the stove that will fit over the pot that you're using at the stovetop. All right. Should a fire begin in in the pot or pan that you're using, simply covering it with the lid and shutting the burner off may solve the problem. All right. Electrical fires, I think, is another thing for the senior population to consider. All right, and this is important. Don't overload outlets in the home. Don't overload power strips. All right, we see more and more, particularly with computers and printers and monitors. We see more use of power strips. We don't want to overload those. From time to time, take note of the wiring, on any appliance, and ensure that it hasn't become frayed or old or brittle, where you see wire exposed. When we talk about larger appliances, microwaves, air conditioners, the refrigerator, consider plugging just one of those into an outlet. All right, if you're plugging an air conditioner in, ideally, you probably don't want to be sharing that 2-position outlet with something else. Do the best you can. Do not run electrical cords under a rug or a mat. All right, as you walk across the rug or the mat, we create some abrasiveness, some friction. Again, it can wear that protective coating around the copper wires to the point where now it may not be visible to you because it's under a rug, but in fact, now we may have bare copper wires that are coming in contact with something that, could ignite, obviously the rug. Extension cords, another thing to consider. Extension cords are for temporary use only, and they're not designed for long-term use. All right, so do the best you can to eliminate the use of extension cords. I'll mention a little bit about smoking. Obviously, there's enough information out there that will tell everybody that smoking is bad for your health and none of us should be doing it. And as you're working your way towards quitting, if you must smoke, smoke outdoors. All right, and make sure that you have a coffee can filled with sand or even ideally water, so you can ensure that your cigarette or indoor matches go out completely. Never extinguish a cigarette in a potted plant or mulch. All right, we do see a lot of fires, believe it or not, particularly in mulch outside. That's just not the place to extinguish a fire. If you're feeling drowsy or you're ready for bed, don't smoke. Don't even have cigarettes in your bedroom. All right, and particularly for the senior population, there should be no smoking at all in or near any unit, housing unit, apartment, household, home where oxygen is in use. All right, obviously we have to, there have to be signs that note that, but unfortunately, we still hear of tragedies where, oxygen accelerated the rate of burning. All right, we don't want to see that. For emergencies, ideally, have a plan. Have a plan for an emergency. When we talk about fire safety, we want to have a plan that you'll be out of your apartment or your house within 3 minutes. Okay, ideally. So as I said earlier, when you go to bed at night, you'd like to consider keeping your eyeglasses, a cane, a walker, any hearing instruments you may need next to the bed or wherever you sleep at night. Make sure that the pathways that you'll use from your bedroom to the exit door are clear. All right, ideally that you won't be, likely to trip or fall or be stalled in any way. To that point, install night lights throughout the house. All right, at night, so that you can see your way making your way out of the home. Make sure on the outside of your home, particularly if you live in a single or 2-family home, make sure on the outside of your home that your house number is visible to us. Yes. You'd be surprised at the number of times we come down the street looking for a certain address and the number just isn't readily apparent to us. Ideally, someplace right around the front door and well lit at night. All right, just is going to shorten our response time and enable us to get to you quicker. And again, for the seniors that are watching this program, consider obtaining a file for life. A file for life is a container that will hold documents. You may be able. It's probably comes with a magnet where you could keep it right in your refrigerator. And you'd want to put important records in there, particularly relative to medications that you might be on, or anything else that you'd like the fire department, the police department, or emergency medical services, to know about you, what we should know about you in particular when and if we respond to your property. So again, those are just some basic home fire safety topics and supportive points that I'm pleased to have the opportunity to make. And if anybody has any questions for the fire department, please don't hesitate to call. The Malden Fire Department Fire Prevention number is 781-397-7383. All right, they're open Monday to Friday, 7 to 5. In addition to that, obviously, if there were an emergency in your home, 911 is the number to dial. Don't hesitate. If you see or smell smoke in your home, don't go looking for the source. Evacuate your home and call 911. Within 2.5 to 3 minutes, ideally, the fire department be on scene and will identify what the problem is, if there is a problem. All right, but if you're moving around your home trying to identify the source, if unfortunately there is a fire, it's escalating. All right, so when the smoke alarm sounds or you see or smell smoke, get everybody out of the house, dial 911 from outside. We'll be there shortly and we'll determine what the problem is and get it corrected for you. All right, and so again, I hope that I've covered the key points. I hope the information that I provided is helpful to everybody, and I appreciate this opportunity, Coach.
Wow, well, Chief, that was very thorough and very helpful for just not those tips and for fire safety and prevention. That's just for seniors, for everybody. And I just learned some new things today too. And you also mentioned the Vial for Life, and I'm also going to post a link to where you can download that document too, and it's going to be in the description for our viewers. And you can also reach out to community centers or even Google lifesaver or medical emergency sheet for home, and you can get free templates, and you can start to use that today. And just like what the chief said, putting it on the refrigerator or in a container is unbelievably helpful. And if you miss anything that the chief said, just hit rewind, because there's a lot of life-saving information that we may overlook. Well, I really appreciate your time, and again, I'm very thankful for what you and all the first responders are doing, and for taking the time to share safety, prevention, and tips for all of us.
Yeah, no, once again, Coach, I appreciate this opportunity. I look forward to the next one.
All right, my friend. Well, enjoy the rest of your day.
You as well. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Stop.
Well, I want to say once again, muchas gracias. Thank you to the Chief for sharing some truly life-saving tips that we all can use. Now, I want to expand on something that he brought up, which was another advice, which was the file of life or medical information sheets that you should consider having. Now, that information, as I have one here in my hand, you can find in your local community center. You can ask your primary care physician for one. You can Google it, and you can just type in medical emergency information sheet, and you can find some free templates. So I encourage you to do that. Now, one thing that I wanted to do was to just give a few additional rules of thumb when you have one of these information sheets at home. And this information that I'm reading to you is from care.com, and I thought this was very helpful. You should also have a copy should also be given to another family member, caregiver, or friend. I thought that was really good advice. And another part that I wanted to share with you, and I thought it was very helpful, you want to make sure that everyone in your household agreed not to move it from whichever spot you put that sheet on. So if you have it on your refrigerator, if you have it in a vial, your whole household agrees not to move it, so we know for a fact it's in one location. So hopefully you would never have to use it. You don't have that type of emergency or a fire. And thank you again to Chief for taking the time to speak with me. Now we're going to move on to my next segment, which is Rest is Rust. And the Rest is Rust is a public campaign that I'm doing to bring public awareness about physical activities to older adults from all walks of life for our diverse community. So in a nutshell, I'm basically asking all my friends, family, and clients to help me translate Rest is Rust into other languages. And I am going to, and I have had some replies. So I want to ask you, how do you say Rest is Rust in your language? Please email me your answer. And now as I read to you some of the replies from different languages, I'm going to ask for you to, I'm going to apologize in advance because I'm going to butcher the pronunciation. So I'm going to start. So I've learned it in Albanian, rest is Gjesa Jeter Eshte Drishkik. That's the best I can do. Irish Gaelic is marriage and should ele. So for some reason I can hear people laughing or putting their head down and saying, what are you doing? Hey, I'm doing my best to bring public awareness. But in that reply, for that last translation, the person said, not to be confused with Scottish Gaelic, and she wrote, Ta an cor marriage. That's the best I can do. I got a couple more for you, and then I actually have a small video for you of people speaking in their own language. In German, wer rasta der Ruste. In Afrikaans, Rus is Ros. French, I'm going to do my best. Si tu te reposes, tu rues. In Japanese, Yasamu Sugiwa Sabino Moto. All right, so I think I just embarrassed myself. I did my best. Now you're going to hear rest is rust from two people speaking in their language. Watch this video.
Hey everybody, it's Coach Julio, and right now I'm about to start my class, but I'm going to have Lai and Josie say rest is rust in other languages. That's part of my project. So Josie, can you say it in your language?
Una persona seduta diventa ruggina.
And that is Italian.
That's in Italian.
Could you be nice enough and say it one more time? Just every time.
Una persona seduta resta ruggina.
Awesome. That sounds like a song.
Beautiful.
Lai, how do you, and what are we saying in Chinese?
In Chinese,
Okay.
不動則壽，多動則靈。
That's awesome. And just so I can practice by myself, can you say it again?
不動則壽，多動則靈。
That's awesome. So there you have it. Everybody, on the count of three, we're going to say rest is rust. 1, 2, 3.
Rest is rust.
All right, thank you guys.
Rest is rust, as you just heard. All right, so part of my style of teaching, I like people to feel good. And this is a nice quote I want to share with you. So, always find a reason to laugh. It may not add years to your life, but it may surely add life to your years. And that's a quote. And by the way, if you know how to say rest is rust, as you saw on the screen, I will ask you to email me. So, always find a reason to laugh. I hope you are smiling as you're watching this. Now, you can also find me, if you're enjoying the show and you want more, remember, you can find me on social media. I'm on Twitter, YouTube, that's where the playlist is, Facebook, and Instagram. I do online events, free events, and local live events. So you want to check me out on these social media so you can stay up to date. And you could also stay up to date for the next SPARTA Seniors shows that will be coming soon. So I want to thank you for allowing me to be a part. I want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of your fitness journey. And as I always say, be well and stay active.